Today's Pipeline Pro webinar is just getting us started down an exciting path, at least in my opinion. This week, we're going to talk about message templates, including examples that will hopefully inspire you to create templates for your own personal use or to share with other admins and agents on your team. In next week's webinar, Monta's going to share with us one of Pipeline's newest features, scheduled messaging. Before we get to scheduled messaging, though, we want to make sure you're getting the most out of message templates first. That will make sure you're set up right from the start to get the most out of scheduled messaging in Pipeline. So now, starting from the top, let's take a look at message templates. As you know, message templates help you keep in touch with all the important players on a transaction without having to type out the same stuff over and over. They're a personal thing. You can choose to share them with others if you want, but you're also free to create your own personal templates that help keep you moving forward in your specific responsibilities. Also, don't forget, even agents can create their own message templates to stay on top of their important personal communication. On their own, message templates really do seem magical. They allow you to send reusable messages on a transaction without having to type it out again and again. But when you set up message templates and use autofill tags in them, it's like you get superpowers. Your reusable messages become truly customized and specific to the transaction and the client, the agent, the lender, or whoever you're sending the message to. Of course, you can type a message from a transaction on the fly, but why would you want to? Message templates are by far, whenever it's possible, the best way to send messages. The sweetest thing about message templates is that you get a lot of reward for just saving a message you're already going to send out anyway, and then you get to reap the benefits over and over. So whenever you're sending an email out from a transaction and you think, I might need to send this out again later, just do two quick things: add autofill tags and save it as a message template. Let's say you regularly send a message from each transaction to the seller, letting them know you're excited to represent them on their sale and how to contact you in the future. Your message might look something like this. As you're sending it, you have the thought, hey, I could use this again. At that point, just click the box here to save this message as a reusable template and give the template a name. Let's call this Intro to Seller. Then that's it. The first step is done. After that, all you have to do is replace all the specifics in your message with autofill tags. So when you're sending the message from another transaction later, the transaction information you're wanting to share in the message will automatically be added to the message for you. So in this example, we can replace just a few things with a few simple autofill tags. I'm going to start here at the top. And it's a good thing I'm replacing this with an autofill tag. As you can see, I would have sent out a typo in the seller's name. So to add an autofill tag, I'm just going to click Add Autofill Tag to the upper right corner here and start typing seller and select seller first name. So now when this message goes out, the seller's name will be automatically added there for me. And then I can just copy this and paste it here to replace the seller's first name. And I've got the listing date added in the message, so I can add an autofill tag to replace the listing date in my message template. I'm also adding my name in here, the sender's name, a couple times, and I can replace that with the sender first name autofill tag. That one's super useful because when you share your message templates and someone else then sends this message, it's going to show as sent from them. So it makes your message template super custom to whoever's sending it out. And that's done. When we send the message out, it will be saved as a reusable message template so we can use it again on transactions. And this is what it will look like when it goes out. Now, I know as you're getting started, it can take a bit of time to set message templates up, but keep in mind that once you do, and as you do, the process of creating them gets easier. And once you see what they do for you and you really start taking advantage of that, you won't be able to wait to add more. In the end, once they're all set up, they'll make for nearly effortless communication on some of your most important messages going forward. Just a few clicks, no typos, and even fully customized with meaningful transaction-specific information. On to the next example. Let's say once an offer is accepted on a property, you send a message that assures the buyer you're on top of it, lets them know all the important dates coming up, and reminds them you're there if they need you. Let's take a look at my buyer check-in and share key dates message template. Notice as I'm making my way to that message template, I'm naming my message templates intentionally so they appear in a specific order here. And so I can easily type ahead to find them. This is only one way of doing it. Each of my message templates start with the person I'm sending the message to and end with the purpose of the message. So to the seller, an introduction. To the buyer, check in and share key dates. This is only one way of doing it. Like I said, there are plenty of other ways to organize your message templates depending on your workflow and what makes the most sense for your office. Some offices like to number their messages so they appear in a specific order like this. Some offices like to begin the name with the related department or office location. Some offices don't really put that much thought into what their templates are named, honestly, because type ahead makes it so easy to find them when you need them. Either way, you're free to find the message that works best for you and your workflow. In this example here, you can see I am using the buyer first name autofill tag instead of the seller this time, the sender full name instead of just the sender first name this time, the buying agent full name tag to autofill the name of any buying agents on the transaction. This will autofill the buying agent Otis. And I'm also using the key dates autofill tag to share any key dates on the transaction with my buyer. This key dates autofill tag will automatically insert any tasks I've designated as key dates in my checklist templates, along with their status, whether or not they've been checked, and their due date. So as you can see here, I've got these 4 key dates on my transaction, and the key dates autofill tag will automatically insert those into the message like you can see here. So this one is very similar to our last message, but with the addition of key dates. It's a very simple setup, and I've got a fully custom, very personal message going out to my client. This is what the message looks like once it's sent. If you aren't already using key dates in Pipeline and you'd like to know more about them, check out the key dates article on our help site. Just click help in the upper right, then get help, and then you can search for just the word key, and you'll see that manage key dates article. This article shows you all about how to set up and use key dates, including autofilling them into your emails and message templates. So in the first example, we looked at autofilling transaction dates, like the listing date, into messages. And in the second example, we looked at autofilling key dates. You can also use autofill tags for any of the other transaction dates and additional optional dates. When you click add autofill tag here, just start typing date to see all the possible dates you can autofill from a transaction. That'll give you a reminder of all the available transaction dates. As you know, you have these autofill tag options all pointing to a specific field on the transaction, like the transaction name, the transaction label, the status, or any of the others you see here in this list. But you also have advanced autofill tags. Advanced autofill tags are autofill tags that are based on information that is custom to your account. They allow you to bring in specific details that you've set up from either your checklists or from your contacts. So to show you what that looks like, here is an example of that same message. Instead of sharing key dates in this message, I'm sharing the full milestones checklist. So I've added this advanced checklist autofill tag for my milestones checklist. The way that I added that is, I'll go ahead and remove it here to show you. If you click the autofill tag help option in the lower right corner of your messages, you can see this on any transaction. And then click advanced checklist autofill tags in the article. That'll take you straight to this table of checklist autofill tags. Since we're wanting to share the entire checklist, I'm going to copy this autofill tag and paste it into my message. And the autofill tags always show the information that you need to complete in all caps here, like this. So since we're sharing the name of the checklist, we need to enter the name of the checklist we want to share here in place of name of checklist. So I'm just going to type in milestones. That is the name of my milestones checklist here that I'm wanting to share in the message. And when you do that, you'll see the entire checklist there in your sent message. You can also see it here in this sent message. So this one is very similar to the last message we sent, just sharing the entire milestones checklist instead of only the key dates. You can also use advanced checklist autofill tags to insert due dates of specific tasks. So let's look at another example here. This message is also similar to the one we've been sending out, just a little difference here in the way I'm sharing the due dates. So here I'm adding a checklist autofill tag to share this specific due date of a task on the transaction. Let's say I want to add a new date of appraisal deadline. I could go ahead and copy and paste these autofill tags from this list and just change them up here to insert it, but I'm going to go ahead and go back to the article by clicking autofill tag help and copying this due date autofill tag here. And then I'll paste it into my message and then just replace the information needed. So the name of the checklist my appraisal due date is on is milestones. And the name of the task is appraisal due. As you can see, this is what that message will look like once it's sent, autofilling the appraisal due date here in the message. This is what it actually looks like once it's sent. You can also use advanced autofill tags to automatically fill in a specific contact's information. So you can autofill details from a specific contact on the transaction into your message. Let's say once the home inspection has been scheduled for a seller, you regularly send them a reminder message to let them know when it is and contact information for the inspector that they're scheduled with. Let's take a look at my seller scheduled home inspection message template. You could set up a message template like this for your reminder, including simple autofill tags like the inspection date, the seller first name. Then you can add the inspector details using advanced contact autofill tags. So in our example here, we have advanced autofill tags to share the inspector's name, email, and phone number. Let's say we wanted to also add the inspector's first name. I'll go to my autofill tag help article and back to the top and click on advanced contact autofill tags. From this table, I can select whatever it is I want to share. So here we're sharing the first name. I'm just going to copy and paste into my message and then replace the role with inspector since I'm wanting to share the inspector contact's first name. When that message goes out, it'll look like this. Or here's an example of an actual sent message you can see with the inspection due date and the inspector's contact information. Let's look at another example using contacts. You can also use advanced autofill tags for contacts to share a list of several contacts on the transaction. For example, some offices use message templates to share transaction contacts with agents. Yes, of course, agents can always see their contacts on transactions, but some agents prefer to keep a backup copy of their contacts. You could use a message template to share a list of some of the top contacts on a transaction and send it to the agent at whatever point you see most fit. This way, from the email, they can save their contacts to their personal contacts or just have peace of mind knowing they have a backup copy of their contacts in their email. Now, another example, sort of pooling together all these items, autofill tags, advanced autofill tags for checklists and for contacts. Say when a transaction is nearing its end, you'd like to check in with the agent to make sure all the details they've entered on the transaction are correct and all their required docs have been submitted before the deadline. You might use a message template like this to have them confirm those details right from your message, giving them the convenience of simply replying all to request any changes or submit any last-minute docs. In this message template, you can see I'm using all the simple autofill tags we've talked about before, and then some, using a few advanced contact autofill tags here, and added a couple advanced checklist autofill tags. And also at the top of the message, I've added our deadline for docs, which is the due date for our docs deadline task. So this is an example of what that would look like when it gets sent out. All of this information nicely formatted for the agent to take a close look at, review right from their email, and reply back if anything is needed. Another one of my favorite ways I've seen offices use message templates can be useful in various ways. The reasons it's one of my favorites is because it's actually something that's useful even when you're sending messages that aren't really fit for using message templates exactly. Of course, there are messages you need to send on transactions that are related to very specific scenarios where you wouldn't possibly have a message template. Maybe it's some communication with an agent regarding a specific deadline they have some questions about, or a conversation with a client asking questions about the signature request you sent earlier. Either way, some offices create reusable message templates to simply offer a quick snapshot of the transaction to whoever they're chatting with. So whenever they're sending a message out from the transaction, they might start with this transaction snapshot template like this, then write their message above, let's say, then when the message is sent, a brief snapshot of the transaction as of today will be included at the bottom of the message. So this is an example of what that looks like once it's sent. As you can see, my snapshot includes the transaction name, the office location, the MLS number, the label, the status, some important dates. Your snapshot may include entirely different details. You may even set up a snapshot specifically for agents and one specifically for clients to share information that is custom to them in their snapshot. A snapshot like this is not only useful by itself, as it is here, it can also be useful within your message templates. It's just a quick and easy gesture to set up, and it goes a long way in helping to make sure everyone is staying on the same page regarding the transaction's most important details. And you can even expand on this if you want to. Say you regularly send out a custom transaction report to any parties involved on the transaction. In this message template, I'm using autofill tags to share the general transaction information, advanced contact autofill tags to share the lender, title company, and escrow, and then also advanced checklist autofill tags to share due dates of specific tasks on the transaction. And this is what that message would look like once sent. Here with the general transaction information at the top, the contacts and the checklist all nicely formatted there like a report. So you're able to sort of mix and match that to send it to whatever parties you'd like. And last, let's take a look at another example of a message you might send to agents. This example may or may not already reflect something you do in your regular practice. If you aren't, it's a good example of how message templates can really help you level up your game. Some offices like to use message templates to help agents retain their transaction backups. Say at the end of every transaction, you send a closing package message to your agents, including both an attached zip file link of all their docs on the transaction and a cover sheet including their contacts to download. Also, you like to include some of their most important contacts shown in the message in case they want to go ahead and save them now. You could set up a message template, including these reminders, those contacts. You will still need to attach the docs and cover sheet, but as long as you include the word attached in the message, Pipeline will nicely remind you if you accidentally send the message without any docs. So to show you how that works, let's say I'm sending this to my agent. You can see this is an example of what it will look like once sent to them. And then I click send email. When I do that, Pipeline sees that I've included the word attached in my message, but I haven't actually attached anything. So I'll get that reminder. I can click cancel, and then I can select my docs. Since I'm sending this email to the listing agent, I want to send the listing and the sale docs on the transaction. So I can hold down the shift key and select any box within those categories to select the full category. Again, if I hold down the shift key and select any doc within the category, it will select all of them at once. So now I have my docs attached. I'm going to choose to send the docs as a zip file link and attach the cover sheet and include the contacts in the cover sheet. And then I'll send that message out. And this is what that would look like to the agent when they receive it. A nice reminder to download their attached zip file, a nice reminder to download the attached cover sheet, and a quick glance at their contacts if they want to save them. And that is it. 10 examples of message templates. You're free to mix and match the examples we talked about today, or use them just as a jumping off point to work for your specific scenarios and needs for messaging. I just want to remind you, if you have any questions as you're getting your message template set up, don't forget that the Pipeline Help Desk is always just a click away. Just click help in the upper right corner to contact us. We're here to help make sure you're getting the most out of your message templates.